Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. What the fuck? A wartime drama with not enough focus on the war, the time, or drama. Tina Fey breaks from character to play the real-life journalist Kim Baker, who is described as Tina Fey-esque in a review of her autobiography, The Taliban Shuffle: Strange Days in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Kim Baker is assigned as a wartime correspondent in Afghanistan, after public interest in the war has dwindled due to the neighboring war taking place in Iraq. The movie's first act takes place in 2003, so it's hard to imagine that the war that followed 9/11 was losing popularity to Iraq. But for those who remember, the Iraq War was presented as the more urgent cause, the more popular war at the time, taking out the brutal dictator Saddam Hussein and trying to find nuclear weapons while simultaneously bringing democracy to Iraq. This causes most journalists and networks to flock their coverage to Iraq, leaving Afghanistan almost a forgotten war. When the job opportunity of being a wartime correspondent, boots-on-the-ground reporter is given to Kim Baker, she is not reluctant to take the job, even though it can be very dangerous. She takes the job because at home, she's living a very stagnant life. She's not really moving in any direction with her career. So she sees this as an opportunity to possibly further her career and gain recognition. The movie progresses through 4 years of the Afghanistan War, 2003, 2004, 2005, with her stay in Afghanistan ending in 2006. Throughout these 4 years, Kim develops an addiction to the madness of war and finds purpose in her eccentric, dangerous new life, and it ultimately risks her mental and physical well-being. The biggest problem in this movie is comedy. It's definitely a funny film.
Kabul's first licensed female driver, Gulbahar Yousefi, hits the road in the first... That sucks. That sucks for women.
But this is a wartime drama that suffers from comedy being the strongest aspect of the film. Usually a great satire will carefully sprinkle the comedic relief over the more serious and dramatic aspects of the film, but What the Fuck unevenly leans on its sense of comedic tone. The themes presented are mental addiction, media focus, and the repercussions of a forgotten war. Kim Baker becomes obsessed with the violence and tragedy of war because it's tangible. It's a literal and mental escape from her life under the desk. But you're never convinced that her life is truly in danger to justify them showing you her mental addiction. The war-torn Afghanistan really becomes a third-world social outlet for the main cast of characters, consisting of Margot Robbie and Martin Freeman. We are meant to believe that Baker is mentally addicted to the tragedy of war, but we rarely see the emotional repercussions of such a dangerous mental obsession. And rather than develop the character through the progression of her addiction, they lazily list brief expositions and blatant character arc explanations. The war set pieces are unconvincing and poorly directed, and Margot Robbie as a journalist is the most unrealistic part of this movie. There's no way a New York 10, or a Kabul 15 as they call it.
In New York, you're like 6, 7. Here, you were 9, borderline 10.
What are you here, like a 15? Hello.
Yeah.
Would spend her life fighting for unpopular war reports in a forgotten war country and rotting in the Middle Eastern wasteland for close to a decade. Rather than make her living through, hot tub cameos in movies that are nominated for Oscars.
Got it? Okay. Now fuck off.
The biggest disappointment of the movie was the wasted potential. I left the theater feeling like I should have witnessed one of the great wartime dramas of all time. Instead, I witnessed a film production that wastes unique emotional themes and, wastes the talents of their leading lady, Tina Fey, who was known for being a comedic star, but this could have been a career-defining role for her. Overall, I would give this movie a 4 out of 10. It's a mediocre film that never really reaches its potential, but knowing Hollywood, they'll reboot it in a year and, cast Kate McKinnon as Kim Baker and hopefully get it right. I don't know. What is with Hollywood rebooting Memento? They're remaking Memento that came out in 2000.